Look, a lot of y'all feel like y'all lost, stuck, or like you're just existing. And pretty much today, I got a video for y'all who can relate to that. And one thing y'all gotta start doing, if you in this category, is y'all gotta start really, really like getting close to God. One thing, the main thing I'm gonna lead off with is y'all gotta trust and stay loyal under God, man. You gotta get a good relationship with God, and you gotta get a good relationship with your family, because those are generally the most people who those should be the biggest influences on your life, no doubt. And God, if you follow God, man, I'm telling y'all life will go in the exact direction, and you're gonna realize when you get to the end of it how everything lines up. But a lot of y'all aren't. I'm not saying you got to be perfect, right? I'm not saying you got to be perfect and you got to stress yourself to the point where it's just like you feel overworked trying to follow what God is saying. But what I am saying is that you should you should definitely strengthen your relationship with him. And then later on you'll realize you're really helping him just by doing what your purpose is. And you're gonna love your purpose. So it all kind of adds up. But the main thing y'all need to start doing, the number one thing to start doing, is getting close with God, man. Just try that. I'm telling y'all, try it. Y'all are gonna see it, man. Like, ask for a sign and see if he don't show you one. Look out for some. Just pray. Just pray. Ask for a sign, because if you somebody like me, I'm not an easy believer neither, but I've never asked for a sign from God, and he hasn't came through on it. But that's just the first thing y'all need to be doing. I need to make sure that's out the way. You feel me? Because everything really does run under him. I mean, if you want your life to go in a positive direction, that's what you need to be doing. That's just a non-negotiable. But the second thing you need to be doing, y'all, is y'all need to be learning yourself. Stop being on phones at night. Stop distracting. Like, if you have time where you can just think, like if you in the shower, if you in the bathroom, if you're about to go to sleep, there's no reason that you should be on your phone, man. Thinking to yourself really makes you learn a lot about yourself. Which is something that I had to realize, is that when I cut out my phone, I actually begin understanding myself. When I'm just thinking to myself, you start learning yourself. And if you don't know yourself, a lot of people be going around, you don't even know yourself for real. You don't know your purpose. You don't know what you stand on. You don't know your beliefs. You don't know your goals. None of that. You can't create goals because you don't know what you want. You don't know what you really like. You don't know what you like to do, because most of y'all just sit inside all day. That's not how we're meant to be. You're supposed to be going out, seeing new things, and then when you actually start keeping an eye out, it's gonna hit you, and you're gonna see something that you actually like, and it all builds. It all builds to lead you to your purpose. And learning about yourself, taking away phones when you go into bed, when you're on the toilet, any of that, just thinking to yourself is a very good thing to start with. And I'm so serious about this. I'm saying this because I'm not trying to be different in saying this, but the thing is that a lot of people don't say this, like, and it's a very big thing. I don't want y'all to think this is something that's like I'm just pulling it out of nowhere, but I'm dead serious when I say this. Find yourself first, learn yourself, and then things will start falling into place more and more. Because once you find your purpose is going to be the most, you are going to have the most joy in your lifestyle ever when you find your purpose and you're working towards it every single day. When you work towards that purpose, that's when overall your life is truly improving. That's when you're getting better. And that's when you're going to realize that when you're doing what you're meant to be doing, that's when you're gonna realize that your life is. That's when it's the greatest. That's when it's at its greatest, and that's something y'all gotta realize. But another thing is, y'all go ahead, like and subscribe, man. Y'all watch these videos every day. I'm getting y'all right. You know, every single time, I'm gonna get y'all good, real videos. Nothing's gonna be lazy. I don't do that. So I'm gonna be genuine with y'all the whole time. So make sure y'all watching my videos, cause but yeah. Other than that, y'all gotta stop following people. Following people is one of the biggest things that mess people up and their potential, because that strays them from their purpose. Because how are you gonna find out what your purpose is if you're following somebody else and you're looking up at them and you're like, I want to be like that? No, you shouldn't want to be exactly like anybody. You may see something that you like from somebody and you could take that, but at the end of the day, you should be making it your own anyways. But you can see something that you like a characteristic about somebody that you like, and be like, I kind of want that in myself. And that's really what finding yourself is seeing what you like from other people, seeing what you like in yourself, finding out from other people and yourself by spending time with yourself, like I was saying. That's really what it's gonna be at the end of the day. What y'all need to do is, if you keep following people, then you're never gonna really know what you like to do. Because if you just follow people all the time mindlessly, then you're not gonna find out what you actually like to do. You're gonna find out what they like to do, and then you're gonna feel like you don't have a purpose. That you shouldn't follow what people say. If somebody says you should do this, you should do that, you can consider it. Definitely try it out if it seems like something you might like. But at the end of the day, you gotta listen to yourself, and you gotta go off of what God tells you and what yourself tells you, because that's what's gonna lead you to your purpose, and that's what you want in this life. That's how the only way you're gonna really be able to be at your best self is if you find your purpose, and no matter what position you're in, you strive to get there no matter what, and you don't break. So following people, that's a big thing. Make sure y'all realize too that there's a role for everybody. You don't have to be, especially in high school, right? You see so many people who act certain type of ways, and then you start to see a trend that just isn't true in life overall. Like, you start to see a trend in like, I guess, more popular people, right? More popular people in school. You start to see a trend that they might be doing like reckless stuff. They could be doing drugs, whatever the situation is, right? And my thing about that is that there's a role for everybody. If you're not that type of person, like, God has a different purpose for everybody, right? If you see somebody else winning, is what I'm trying to say. If you see somebody else winning, if you did the same thing that they did, that makes them in that situation where they're winning, if you do that same thing, it's not going to work for you. You need to do what works for you. Different people have different purposes. So you doing what somebody else does is not going to better your life in any way. That's why comparisons are the most stupid thing you can do, looking at yourself and comparing it to somebody else, because y'all simply don't have the same life. Y'all don't have the same purpose. So there's no point in a comparison. It's like comparing apples to oranges. You see what I'm saying? But y'all also got to stop caring about people's opinions in general. When people say things about you, whether you need to stop thinking what people think, caring about what people think in general, like whether it's good or bad, because thinking about what people think is going to make you act a certain way, and you're going to start acting a way that other people want you to act. But like, not everybody can like you, bro. You can't adjust to people and change yourself for that. Have something that you stand on. Like I said, when you get to learn yourself, have things that you stand on, beliefs, your own personality, have all of that so that you don't have to care about what people think. Because and when I say there's a role for everybody, is that you being yourself at the end of the day is going to lead you to your purpose. And at the end of life, you're going to realize that, you know, that other people who might have been considered popular or whatever, and just in high school, might not even be doing as good as you, because they just, like, let's be real, a lot of people who get attention, who gain popularity, they're not really, like, most of them be bums at the end of the day. They only in that position because they're just like it's just not, nobody's developed. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's really matured and seen that. But think about where you want to be at the end of your life. Realize what you want to do for like the rest of your life. And the rest of your life, you got way more years in the rest of your life than you do in high school. There's no point in doing and speeding to impress people. There's no point in doing none of that to impress people. People always think that there's got to be some type of, like, there's a problem with not doing wrong things or whatever y'all want to do. Y'all do what y'all want to do. There's a role for everybody, man. You're going to grow up. You're going to realize that, and that anybody can be living their dream life, no matter how you are. You could be you could be the nerdy kid, and you could be living your dream life with a happy family, you feel me? But just however you're gonna be, just make sure you're doing what you want to do, because that's going to lead you to the life you want to live at the end of the day. That's going to lead you to where you want to be at, however you are. So just take that, accept it, make it a part of yourself. I'm not saying don't make yourself better now. Like, if you see something that's a flaw, that's a clear flaw that you don't want in your life, then don't do it. Or work on yourself not to do it, because, like, it's a part of you. So you got to work on yourself. But if you see a flaw, that's different. But other things that aren't necessarily flaws, just worry about being you, man. Like, I don't care if you're, like, just own yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then, next thing is you gotta have a work-life balance also. So, like I was saying, you don't gotta be stressing yourself to do any certain type of thing. Make sure you get a balance, because, like, just make sure that you're earning your free time, you're earning your leisure, because that's really when, like, you can play hard, but you can also, like, work hard. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way to live, is when you're working hard and doing what you love. It's like, and then you can do the things that you want to do also. You're doing what you need for money, and then you're doing what you want to do, and it's both fun. That's when your life is at its highest. That's when your mental state is at its highest, because you're all around. You're just doing what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You're doing what you want and making money off of it. You're doing what you want, and it's bettering your life. I don't see how you see people like that who live like that, and really be honest, like, how can somebody like that lose? If you don't care what people think, and you just working on yourself, you bettering yourself every day, you getting paid for it, and, like, you see how you just build, you're building in, you're just working on yourself at the end of the day, but everything falls into place. And that's really how God intends for life to be, in my perspective. That's why everything just connects, because at the end of the day, if you just focus on that one thing of finding your purpose and working towards it, and finding what you really like to do and working towards it, everything else will fall into place. That's what I think. So, you feel me? Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, show love to the video, all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to drop like 4 a day. That's what I'm trying to do starting tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll be doing at least one every day. So y'all stay tuned in, subscribe. notifications on, all that. And always listen to God. Always be looking out for what he's trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because he communicates to you differently. You know what I'm saying? It's different for everybody. You might get different type of signs. You might get different type of, you know what I'm saying? But he'll always be on the lookout for you if you praying, staying prayed up. But, you know, that's pretty much all I got in the video. And